You could do that with the original Oblivion game, or the last Oblivion game, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. The last one was called Oblivion / Elder Scrolls or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could do that in the last one. I don't see why that was such a big deal, but still pretty cool.
It's kind of a cool feature to have because I could see where you might need to see outside of your perspective view there.
Because I mean, the reason why I remember that is because I pretty much ran around most of the time in third person, except for like whenever I came up to fight something, I'd go into first person mode or whatever.
Okay, well, we're gonna continue on with the audio, guys.
Yes.
You can put what you want in either hand, so you can put magic in your left hand. What's cool is if you pull both triggers, combine that into a bigger spell. So it really is you are what you play. You just play the game. If you want to be like a warrior, you pick heavy weapons. You want to do magic casting, you know, it's really what you put in your hands. These are the guardian stones. These are ancient standing stones that can bless you with certain abilities, and you can only have one of these active at a time. This is another thing where you define your character as you play the game, as opposed to just doing it at the outset and picking it in a menu.
So, with this part, he's actually talking about you're branching off into the different types of categories that you want to play as, like a warrior or a magic user or whatever. And so they have these stones that are set up, and you kind of pick the stone that you want to use to enhance your ability.
They almost look like a Stonehenge type setup or whatever.
And so instead of like picking the class of what type of warrior you want to be, you can actually physically go up and choose which path you want to take.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. It's different from... I don't play a whole lot of RPGs, but from the ones that I have played, you know, which is normally just you go on to a menu and you know, it's...
Yeah, you must be this type of character, and this is the only type of shit that you can do. Or you must be this type of character, and you know, it's fighter, wizard, or you know, magic user.
Yeah, and so it just seems like there's a lot more customization.
Yeah,
you can look a certain type and play as a different type. You don't have to be, you know. It is kind of a cool way to go.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to put into words. Unfortunately, like we're doing it in audio. But, so you choose your path as you go along.
Choose your own adventure. That was lame.
So at this point in time in the game, he ran across a wolf.
Yeah, it was like a pack of wolves, and they come up. Yeah, it was like a pack of wolves. They come up and start attacking him, and of course, everybody goes nuts and like, kill him, kill him, kill him. So he of course starts fighting them or whatever.
Now there is sort of like a finishing sword move where he ended up like stabbing it through the neck.
Yeah, which is really, 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 really cool because the last one didn't have that. It was pretty much a walk up and hack and slash and block with your shield type thing. I say that because I played as a fighter. I didn't go with the mage or whatever. You know, I'm a big dude, so I always play as fighter because that's always what I dug. But it's they now have like an epic finishing move, I guess you could almost say, to where it's like an ultimate strike type move. Like, I don't know if it's instant death each and every time you hit somebody with it or whatever, but Yeah, instead of just like slash back and forth, and then all of a sudden it dies, you can like slash and then like I guess do a combination or a power move to where like that when he like stabbed the wolf through the neck or whatever.
It kind of reminds me of like the old 90s like side-scrolling fighter games where like you would punch something like you
finish him.
Well, no, not that, but like your last hit, you know, instead of doing a punch, you do a roundhouse kick or something.
Oh,
okay,
like yeah.
Where like that last, I don't know if it's like once they get down to a certain number of hit points, because again, I'm not familiar with the series, I'm not familiar with the game, so I'm just going from my assumptions and using my references from video games, but that there's a last blow where, you know, it does have that sort of like hack and slash where he's just like hitting it with the sword, and then that last one, I think it like ends up flipping the sword.
Yeah.
And then he just ends up like stabbing it in the
through
neck.
the head or neck or something like that. It was epic. I remember that. I was like,
so,
I was one of the people that was screaming for it.
Yeah, that's why people were going apeshit, because it was one of those things that looked really cool, and it's different from some of the other RPG games that I've seen.
And definitely like really a lot different from the last one too. So yeah. Really, really cool.
So we really wanted to make this tactile, make it entertaining on a new level. So you have your items to the right. We have a really nice way of showing lots and lots of stuff. So it's not just about finding items where it's hey, this is a +1 shield. You can look at all of these things. You can zoom in and see the detail on thousands. Our artists have done, a staggering job on names on creatures. Pick those salmon that you saw in the river, take their meat, you can then cook that, and it'll heal you more. You know, the level of obsession that we have, that we have over this stuff is will surprise you. All the books are 3D, you can read them all. They pass you notes based on what you've done. Black hand symbolizes. And I did want to confirm at Quakecon the Dark Brotherhood is in the game. Who is the lead designer and writer in Fallout 3, who made the Dark Brotherhood famous for Oblivion. He's done it again. Great faction line. This goes over to magic as well. So you can set favorites. You see that favorite section? This is kind of like bookmarking web pages for things. And so you can use that. When you see me using the D-pad in the bottom left, that's my favorites. But a big part of an RPG is your skills. And the idea here is that you look to the heavens for what your character is. And you can see the progress of all of your skills. You do have every skill, and as you use them, they'll automatically increase. When you increase enough of them, you will level up. And what's really cool is when you level up, you do get to pick a perk. So each of these constellations is actually its own perk tree that you push into. It's a really cool way of defining your There is significantly more content in this game. It is just big, would be a massive understatement.
So, yeah, there's a lot of information in that small amount of time that he's going over.
And each and every part of it was fucking epic. Like,
everything from going and collecting food and you know, being able to cook it and eat it and to the thing I think that impressed both of us the most was the use of they're referring to it as a sort of like a perk tree.
Yeah.
But the
level up constellation or whatever.
That's what was really, really cool, because in this game, instead of having
just a regular character sheet or whatever,
instead of really having menus, they really cut down on the use of menus. What you do is instead of looking at your tree to kind of see where you're branching off to, your character looks upward into the heavens. Yeah. And there's these constellations, and the different constellations are your different types that you're doing and where you're branching off to. And once you get through those, you've completed a constellation. And that was a really awesome concept to me.
Not only did it look badass, but exactly what you said, man. It's awesome, man. Like it's a badass concept, and I fully support the idea that whoever came up with this needs to have some hot chick suck his dick for every day for the next 365 days. Just because that's fucking badass. That's totally something new, and just
it was really a cool concept to see. And I think this is one of those games where there's a lot of hype behind it. But I think the hype is
backing it up, for sure.
There's a lot of backup to this. This isn't just like a lot of, you know, this isn't Duke Nukem.
Yeah, no.
You know, like this isn't that type of thing. This is sort of like they've really gone through and made a really good job. Again, I'm somebody who I've never played the series. I don't know anything about it. This is me coming in the first time around, looking at this game and going, wow, this looks good, and it makes me want to play this game, and I have very little to no interest to playing RPGs.
Yeah.
Because the amount of detail and micromanaging that happens in a lot of them is sort of a turnoff for me. In this aspect of it, though, they've made it to where it's more kind of tactile, to where it's stuff that you'll want to do.
Yeah.
You'll want to collect meat, and you want to be able to cook it and use it later on.
I mean, in the last game, you collected things and stuff like that, but in this one, like you said, you can actually collect meat. Last one, you collected meat and you would eat it, and it'd heal you of